So how was your trip to,
I was in Delaware.
oh, Delaware? Hey everybody, welcome back to the Ritual Chamber. I am Josh, this is Jeff, and today we are going to be doing our review on Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, fresh off the press.
And I'm just back from the Multiverse of Delaware.
Yes, Delaware. He was in Delaware. Before we get into this, why don't you throw down a quick synopsis on this movie that we literally just got out of viewing?
Yeah, we just got out of it. I tried yesterday to pre-plan this with IMDb's description, and I didn't want to.
There's no way, right?
No, there was no way because this was madness. So after the events of Far From Home and WandaVision, because a lot of this movie does tailor off of what happened in Westview with Wanda. Doctor Strange encounters a young woman from another universe who has the ability to travel through multiversal, and he's trying to protect her because someone is after her. That's as simple as you can make this plot.
Yeah, I mean, I think
because this movie is madness from get-go.
It is very complex.
It's very complex.
Absolutely, and I think I agree with you in that aspect because obviously not giving away too much out the gate. We don't know who that individual is yet, and that's what we will get into.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll get into it fairly quickly as we go through the plot because she's the focus, really.
Multiverse of Madness. I think my expectation going into this was thinking that it was going to be a little bit darker, based just off the trailers.
Which it is.
And it's a Sam Raimi movie, so. When it comes to Sam Raimi movies, I think there's expectation and reality, right? and this is
sometimes
perfectly encapsulates Sam Raimi.
It's a Sam Raimi
what he does with movies, and I'm
here for it.
I really enjoyed this, and I think it was a fresh take on kind of what the formula for Marvel movies has been, in my opinion.
Yeah, I read some
really
reviews.
Enjoyed this one,
I've read some reviews saying that it was a refreshing take. I mean, it had everything. It had everything really. It was a great superhero movie. It was a great horror film. Maybe not a great horror film, but it had so many great horror elements that again, Sam Raimi straight up just love it. If he's producing, it's trash. Don't watch it. But if he's directing, it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
And great humor, as with the MCU always is. And,
yes.
Great story beats, great character development. Maybe not development because these are characters we pretty much know, with the exception of America Chavez. But it's fucking MCU.
Yeah.
And you kind of at this point this is gonna be a real quick aside. But all those people who said you can't watch Infinity War or Endgame as a single movie, you're not fucking supposed to. It's just it's the nature of serialized art forms. You're not fucking supposed to. So if that's your complaint, but I will say in the MCU at least throughout all of it, almost every movie is its own standalone thing that you need some knowledge of other things that went on, but you get the gist.
Yeah.
Infinity War and Endgame, barring those two, because Infinity War at least starts off immediately from something that if you were just going in with blinders, which why would you? At that point, why would you even watch it? But that's a whole other thing.
Well, and I mean, it'd be like reading a book not in chronological order.
Yeah, starting a book on chapter 6.
Or even just picking up the second or third book in a series of books. Or what's your expectation for what came before, right?
Or reading any Chuck Palahniuk novel and complaining about his writing structure. Which I love. I'm fine. I'm for that.
And so that's where I think, again, I agree with you. I mean, you have to watch these movies in succession because that's what they're designed for. It's really designed for the fans.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
And you can get away with all I'm saying is you can get away with it most of the time. I think you can get away with it. You didn't have to watch Doctor Strange 1. You didn't have to really watch Far From Home. They make some mention to it, but it's not really a big part of it.
Yeah, there's some standalone films.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's plenty.
Yeah, absolutely. But this one in particular, I think definitely plays off of all the events of pretty much phase 4. is really like leading up into
Yeah.
like what this movie became. And so you really have to be aware of that in order to understand what's going on in this movie.
Yeah, for me, I've never been a huge Doctor Strange fan. I wasn't even really a huge fan of his first film. Like me, I do like it. It's just, it's not my favorite MCU film. That's fine, whatever.
Yeah,
I still enjoyed it, but it's just not my favorite. It's because he's never been a character that I really cared about in the comics. So obviously, I'm not really gonna care.
Yeah,
not really get developed. But again, I love these films, so serialized filmmaking, I'm gonna watch it. So going into this one, before like all the announcements and announcements that had happened, I was sort of on the fence until that trailer at the end of No Way Home. That got me really pumped.
Okay.
And then every subsequent trailer and reveal since, I was exploding with excitement today.
Yeah,
I couldn't wait. I was checking my phone at like 6:30. Like, why is it not 7:30 yet? I want to go see Doctor Strange.
You know, I have to say, outside of Spider-Man No Way Home, and maybe even more so, this was like the most excited I've been to see an MCU movie in a long time. Just because I think with the aspect of everything that Marvel has done, and obviously with the exploration of the multiverse, and the revelation that we got in Spider-Man No Way Home of the multiverse actually being a thing, and whoa, there's other characters can come in,
and Loki
and Loki, but more so, I'm really gonna. Spider-Man No Way Home was really that first like real exploration to it. You have a bunch of different Spider-Man from different universes that we've seen physical movies of.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, whoa, I'm like, there's endless fucking possibilities in this.
And this movie fucking shows that there are endless fucking possibilities.
Delivered on some of them. There was a couple that didn't deliver for me that I really wanted to see. But overall, I mean, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was really fun. The horror elements of this were actually surprisingly a lot better than what I expected them to be. It didn't lead too much into the dark aspect of it as the trailers would lead you to believe.
Yeah, I think the director had said like this is going to be pretty much the MCU's first horror movie, which it is, but I wouldn't exactly classify it as a horror movie.
Yeah. I mean, it
has its moments.
It was very much like a Sam Raimi, like Evil Dead, Army of Darkness. So like horror elements.
You say that like a negative, and
I'm just saying, I loved Army of Darkness as a kid. I loved Evil Dead.
And it makes me want to punch you.
But
I put on Evil Dead. I put on Evil Dead over here just because.
I can see it, but as I'm watching some of the aspects of this movie right here, I'm like, yes, these were definitely in Multiverse of Madness.
It's got to be.
But so, this movie starts off really strong. The first act, I think.
Actually, super strong. We're just right into it.
I mean, it's just, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. We start off with an alternate version of Doctor Strange protecting America Chavez from some form of monster. I kind of got the sense it might have been like a sort of a depiction of like Sidorak.
Yeah.
Because Crimson Band's of Sidorak and stuff like that, comic book nerd shit, and Doctor Strange, and this is a theme throughout the entire film, decides that the only real way to stop this monster from taking America Chavez and basically assimilating her powers is to kill her.
Yeah.
Or to take her power for himself, because he could control it. And this you get the sense that this America Chavez and this Doctor Strange have been buddies.
Yeah.
They've been traveling together. He's probably been protecting her, and then this moment is betrayal. Again, becomes a big theme in this movie.
Yeah.
And then in his dying moments, he redeems himself by saving her before she can. Because he does try to kill her and basically take on his power, but then gets completely murdered.
Yeah. So selfishly trying to save her?
Yeah, well, too late.
So I think, when you get into this movie, and one thing that I really did enjoy about this movie is the theme of it. I mean, it's you literally essentially have this concept of ego.
Yeah.
Is really explored theme in this, and
ego. There's a lot of the concepts we'll get into as we move forward. But let's because that's I guess like I said, it's a big theme in the movie, so we're gonna be touching on it a little bit. So moving forward, so
all right.
So anyway, so America Chavez, she opens a portal into our universe, and this sort of we get in the trailer where Doctor Strange is talking about having a dream, and this is the dream. This is the dream he's having, is this moment where a different version of himself is protecting America Chavez. Real quick, before we move forward, that was one kind of annoying part of the movie that they kept kind of hammering on a little bit earlier on, and then they kind of like just went away from it. Not hammering on, but like brought up too many times that your dreams are you viewing alternate depictions.
I fucking love that.
Really?
I love it.
I thought it was so weird because Wong even brings up, so that dream I'm running naked away from a clown. It's like, and she's and I can't and America Chavez is like, yeah, in some universe that's happening. But like, no.
No. But see, why,
there were other cool moments about it.
But why that works well, I think, is like what happens when they go into the paint universe.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I feel like paint. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I love that.
Okay,
so
fair
like,
enough.
If you consider the fact that there's multiple different universes out there, you don't know what the fuck's going on there. Maybe there's just people walking around like clowns.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Fair
and you're
enough.
just like a normal guy, like being like, why the fuck is a clown chasing me?
Yeah.
Like,
or you're in the universe that's the cabin in the woods.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Look, it's very avant-garde and very abstract, but it works.
Okay.
But it works. And I liked that. And that was actually a good thing that they explored in the beginning of this movie that I really liked.
I don't know if they call it explore. I think they used it more for
a minor exploration.
They used it more
it was
for jokes and then little bits of like, there it is. Little bits of, what's the fucking word I'm looking for here? Exposition.
Okay, so let's throw it out there. It's not an excavation. It's you taking out a metal detector on the beach looking for some change.
I don't know why you're going into an analogy for that. But
I thought it was a good one.
It was fine. So moving on, as they say, Doctor Strange is attending the wedding of Christine Palmer, Rachel McAdams from the first film. So anyway, he's attending the wedding. Obviously, they were in love. That's clearly in the first one that there was something between them, and it just never quite went anywhere. And then another big monster attack. So they said, okay, so it was weird. They said it was Gargantos, but it was Shumagorath. Like, I don't know. It was Shumagorath. I don't know why.
See, now you're like, I'm out of this realm.
Yeah,
right?
sorry.
This is not my universe.
This was something I saw that was like, because when it showed the trailer and it showed, I was like, oh, badass, Shumagorath is going to be in this. And then like, no, that's not Shumagorath, that's Gargantos. I'm like, no, it's Shumagorath, but whatever. It was Mike Wazowski with tentacles.
Yes, more or less.
Chasing after America Chavez and trying to get her just the same way as the other monster. Wong, Sorcerer Supreme, and Doctor Strange do stop it. I almost said try to stop it, but no, they do stop it, and realize that there's something weird with this monster, and they're seeing runes on it and seeing some other type of protection type spells that made it difficult for them to fight, and that leads us to Doctor Strange going to our resident witch.
Yes.
The Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff.
Wanda Maximoff. And I think it was because really after the aftermath of WandaVision, we didn't know where her character was gonna like fall in line with what was happening in Phase 4 of
yeah, I mean you got the sense at the end of WandaVision that she was clearly looking for her kids in the multiverse or somewhere out there in some kind of capacity, and seeing if maybe she did actually really create life, not just a manifestation of life.
Yeah, but
and
actual creation.
And that's kind of where I felt they were going to go with it. But no, we got the old fucking bait and switch. Like the most unforeseen heel turn.
For real though.
And it's so funny now. Okay, so big reveal. Scarlet Witch
is the villain.
Is the villain.
Yeah,
and is the one sending out
And-
the monsters against America Chavez, and she's basically decimated Wendigore. Because of her going through the Darkholme and it corrupting her. But it's funny because I was looking after that big heel turn, and so I'm gonna admit something here. That got spoiled for me yesterday. When you asked me to look up the runtime.
Oh, you read something?
No, well, some asshole had changed the general premise on Wikipedia. And I don't know why I went to Wikipedia instead of like IMDb.
Yeah.
To say I don't know. I don't know why. I think it's because that's where I know where to look for it. I know where to look for it. Like in the little description, I know exactly where to look for it. Instead of like having to like figure out IMDb. I don't really look at IMDb that much unless I'm like trying to figure out what actor was in what.
Well, lesson learned.
I know, lesson learned. And someone had put "Has to Battle the Scarlet Witch" to say, and I was like, motherfucker.
Wow.
So I lived the last 24 hours in denial. Like that's not real. That's not real. And someone just did that to be an asshole. But it works so wonderfully. I think it does tarnish like a little bit of her redemption at the end of WandaVision.
Absolutely.
However, like I said, the old bait and switch. The trailers, every shot you had of Wanda in the trailers
looks like they're working together.
Yeah. I mean, like all of them, and even like the bloodied Wanda, which we'll get into later, that looked like the zombie Wanda, maybe a different version of.
Because we also in the trailer see the zombie version of Doctor Strange.
Your mind immediately goes zombie Wanda.
Yes,
must be.
Exactly. And you know what though? That's an element of this movie that I actually really liked because. We do have these concepts. I think Civil War was like the most that explored these ideas that the superheroes were kind of self-serving in a sense, like thinking not self-serving, but doing what they thought was right. And
as everyone does.
Yeah, and so this really explored that gray line, but like way more gray area. Like I mean, it was just And so much so that it turned Wanda, like you said, into the heel. Yeah. And which was something that I really didn't expect because Wanda's been such a strong character and supporting character of the Avengers and doing what's right for so long.
Well, I mean, you do have the fact she did start out as a villain, but I mean, this.
Yes,
but I love the linkage to comics and her storyline throughout comics always kind of being a bit crazed. And it does really play on just the emotional journey she's had throughout the films. I mean, even in WandaVision, you're dealing with PTSD and you're dealing with some people have psychotic breaks and she definitely had a psychotic break. Mm-hmm. And I think even in one episode, Vision even says he says, I don't think you were aware of this when you first did it, but now I think you are. And now here we are where she's clearly been corrupted by the Darkholme. She's not exactly, she's manic for sure, but she's not, I think in her heart of hearts, she does think she doesn't think she's hurting anyone.
Yes.
She just wants what she wants and, and she doesn't think she's doing anything really wrong, but sometimes when you want something so badly, you just do shit and you're like, oh, but I didn't do anything wrong, and you're realizing what you're really doing.
Yeah, I think, and that's like an exploration that this movie has, is that in doing the right thing, opportunity cost. You have to give up something to get something.
Yeah.
And in her mind, what she's giving up to get doesn't seem like it's that big of a it's worth it.
Yeah, and the first Strange that the internet has dubbed Defender Strange that gets killed by the monster in the very beginning. He even says that he gives the line that I think Doctor Strange gave in like Infinity War.
Yeah.
About in the vast multiverse, your life is meaningless.
Yeah.
And she kind of has almost the exact same role, but the reason she wants America Chavez's powers is she wants to be able to control, being able to go into any universe, find Billy and Tommy, and
protect them
be
no
their
matter the cost.
Yeah, be their mother, but then also then even Wong even asks, or someone asks.
Yeah, she says,
Why
take care of them when they're sick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
which is kind of a dumb argument, because if you take them to, say, assuming you would take them to your universe or go to another universe to take them there, they're not then just going to contract some otherworldly universe or sickness or something. So like then need to go into another universe to. But then I guess her argument is like she could find another universe.
Exactly. Like she could travel between all of them.
Like if one gets cancer. So I guess that makes sense. If you get like cancer or something like that in another universe, and they might have the cure for that particular whatever. It's just sort of they're towing, like Doctor Strange in different universes are towing that line, the same kind of line that Wanda's towing.
Yeah.
Maybe obviously for different reasons, but so obviously Wanda's off the rocker, as they say, and she straight up threatens Carmitage. Threatens Doctor Strange and goes and basically says,
"Oh yeah," and has like the huge body count there.
Basically says either give her up, or he basically gives her the old like Western ultimatum. Meet me here at dawn, or the kid gets it. And so she goes to Carmitage. Of course they refuse, and she lays waste to Carmitage. Basically. For lack of a better term, she basically lays waste to Carmitage. And that's when we first, like you just said, a huge body count. She just basically tries to kill everybody. And in certain cases, kills them in very interesting...
absolutely.
Very interesting, very creative ways. Even when Doctor Strange tries to trap her in the mirror universe, I think again.
Yes, and she finds out that it's actually like liquid and is able to like pull people through it.
Basically Spider-Man did.
Drowning them.
Yeah.
And I thought that was
because Spider-Man it's math like this. It's liquid. I can.
Yeah. And that was one thing that I liked about this movie, and what I think I've liked about all the Doctor Strange movies is the way
that
they...
You mean the one from the 70s? I'm just kidding.
No, not the one from the 70s. But how they explore this mysticism and how they actually make it work, and how they actually bring it into this like really contorted sense of reality. And just the visual aspect of it looks really...
Sometimes.
I like all of it.
Yeah, sometimes.
I really like all of it.
I rewatched Doctor Strange, the first one, before.
It's very like Inception-esque.
Yeah, but a little bit too much. Like a little bit too mosaic-y. Like a little bit too much. Like there was a lot, like when he's flying through the universes in the first one. And it was just very like Spyro paint type of stuff, but whatever. I'm not gonna shit on that. The one thing it does sort of, I think, is a little bit lazy. I know, but it's just again, when he passes through 3 dimensions, and it's basically that thing of like a kaleidoscope. Like, and that's all it is, really. Like, that's the only interesting thing they could really think of. That's sort of lazy.
Okay, I get that.
And like the idea of the sling ring, like they can't use magic without their sling ring sometimes. Like that would, like someone steals their sling ring. Oh, well, now we can't use magic.
Yeah,
and they did that. They did that kind of a couple times in this movie.
They did.
But yeah, no, and this one I think they definitely improved on it from the last one, especially because the last one is very much making a circle, making a shield, making a whip.
Yeah, exactly.
Even when
less hand gestures. More
less hand gestures. Like I think like in the first one, Doctor Strange literally like battles off someone with like when you would take like rubber bands and do this. Like that's what he's fighting.
Cat's cradle.
Yeah, cat's cradle. Thank you. I can never do it because I have big dumb monster hands, so I can never do it. But so I didn't know what it was called. But so we learned that America Chavez can't really control her powers. We learned that before, but so because she can't control her powers, she only really ever breaks it out when she's under like extreme duress.
Yes, absolutely.
And so she opens a portal and flies her and Doctor Strange through several universes. You get glimpses of them. I was trying to keep an eye on like if there was any kind of weird Easter eggs. Like there was the Paint universe.
Yeah. There was clearly like I want to say like the Into the Spider-Verse universe that they went into at some point.
Some sort of cartoon.
Animated.
There was also a very grainy like 1940s like silent film like era one. I saw that. There was the one with dinosaurs. There was the one with the very Sam Raimi. There was the one the Dark Souls one, as I called it, with all the bones. And they land in a new universe, which is they do kind of some of the dumb things that you do. And we're in a new universe, so like she said, what says like food doesn't cost money in
Yeah.
in most universes. It's weird that it costs money in yours. And then or like or red means go.
Yeah,
Instead of, like that, that kind of like dumb thing, like
Yeah.
this, like the Simpsons episode where it rains donuts.
Yeah.
Which it's fine. That's kind of funny.
It's a lot of social commentary thrown into like a different universe.
Yeah, it's
so
kind of
like
funny.
You can kind of like make fun of.
You can. And it is kind of funny because you can do whatever you want.
Exactly.
But one thing you can't do is change the way Sam Raimi treats Bruce Campbell in this universe. Because we get a great cameo by Bruce Campbell, and I just have to bring it up because it's fucking hilarious. And if you have watched Sam Raimi movies, he always loves beating people up with like weird, or having themselves beat themselves up, or just get beat up. And it's no different. And he loves beating up Bruce Campbell. And
you have a little badass good Ash.
Yeah, you have a little badass good. You have fucking Army of Darkness, fighting the Hand.
Yeah,
and Doctor Strange puts a spell on this guy to basically beat himself up, and it's straight Evil Dead and Army of Darkness, and I love it, and so I just had to point it out and bring it up.
No, and it's great to see Bruce Campbell because
it's always great to see Bruce Campbell.
Absolutely one. I mean, cult classic like actor as far as like our generation goes from like Evil Dead, Army of Darkness. Those franchises, and then again, like he had multiple appearances in all the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Apparently, he was supposed to be Mysterio. That was a weird.
I didn't hear.
That was a weird theory that that maybe he was Mysterio, and that was the thing that was like he was constantly like getting in Spider-Man's way.
Oh, really? Oh,
that was a dumb. I think it might just been a dumb fan theory, but.
But yeah, it was good to see him return again as a cameo, kind of like an Alfred Hitchcock kind of thing of him just being there. Or even akin to Stan Lee doing, cameos in all the Marvel movies. So it was great to see him in this. And in that scene in particular, like you said, is a callback to like Evil Dead and Army of Darkness.
Yeah. So we passed this this poor little pizza balls.
Pizza balls. Yeah.
Pizza balls.
But there's pizza in every universe. It's just in a different form. Yeah. And
I think we can make pizza balls in this universe. We could do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have technology.
Hey, we're gonna put out the recipe. We'll post it for you guys one of these days. On Insta.
So they're looking out for this world's Doctor Strange. They're trying to find the Book of Ashanti, which apparently they can then try to battle Wanda with. And they go and find the Sanctum Sanctorum. Am I saying that right? Sanctum Sanctorum? Okay. And learn that this world's Doctor Strange died fighting Thanos. Apparently, this world's Doctor Strange, allegedly, this world's Doctor Strange died fighting Thanos and took it upon himself and just sacrificed himself, akin to Iron Man.
Tony Stark.
Yeah. And then we are introduced to Carl Mordo.
Yeah.
Carl Mordo. Well, Baron Mordo. It's funny there because later they do make a joke about Steven saying, "Your name's Carl?" Carl. Played by Chiwetel Ejiofor. And I'm sure I butchered his last name, but I did write down the pronunciation of his first name, so I
think that
I thought I could do it. The one thing I did want to say about Baron Mordo was it kind of sucked that it wasn't our universe's Baron Mordo, like having a bigger part in the plot. Only because it kind of leaves that thread dangling from the last movie of him wanting to go after. Because I could see a movie where he's going after Carmitage, then all this stuff happens, and he kind of gets sucked in with them. And maybe he plays on the side. He gets on the good side of this universe's base version of the Avengers, which let's just go into it right now.
Is the titular scene of this movie?
Well, I mean, it's not the titular. I mean, the titular would be someone saying the Multiverse of Madness, saying the thing.
Well, no, I mean it's really like what everybody wanted to see in this movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll admit like that reveal of Patrick Stewart, even though that could have been an easy trick to play on people.
Yeah, but then you actually get the Illuminati, and then you really get this idea of now how Disney Marvel has absorbed the rights to X-Men, Fantastic Four, and one of the biggest reveals in this was John Krasinski playing Reed Richards.
Reed Richards.
And I mean,
In the suit.
in the suit.
With the four and everything.
With the four and everything. I mean, and it was
Josh, what did you hear me say in the theater?
fuck.
And we were about like 5 rows from each other.
Oh, 5. We were like
6 rows from each other.
you
whatever.
were like nosebleeds, and I was like this the entire movie. It was like.
And speaking to that, just real quick, like I said, the another bait and switch, like it could have been with the Professor X, was he wasn't in there initially at first. So I was like, ooh, was that a trick?
Exactly, yeah, because then you see Mordo up there and you're almost thinking from that angle, but it's,
So we're introduced to the Illuminati, who is Haley Atwell reprising her role as Peggy Carter, but this is Captain Carter, if you watch What If, that Captain Carter. You got Baron Mordo, I'm not going to try to say his name again, is one of the members. You get, what did I say it was again? Blackagar Boltigan?
Yes, Black Bolt.
Black Bolt. Also reprised by Anson Mount. He played Black Bolt in the Inhumans series, and but this time he's actually wearing the mask and the full. He looks like Black Bolt. The full garb, as one would say. And then also we get I think it's Lashana Lynch, Monica Rambeau from Captain Marvel 1. Or it was the woman who played the mother of Monica Rambeau, but I think it might be Monica Rambeau from WandaVision, just like an older version. Anyways, whatever. She's Captain Marvel, and then fucking John fucking Krasinski, which everyone is fan casted him as Reed Richards,
as being Reed Richards.
I don't know if he's gonna go forward being Reed Richards. I hope so. I want him, because I think he looks really good as Reed Richards. I
do too, and just seeing his suit and everything, I mean, it was so exciting, and it was just such a cool revelation for the movie, because I like. Again, with the exploration of the multiverse, it was nice to see that obviously these characters, Reed Richards, Charles Xavier, these are going to come into the MCU at some point. And this was just the basic introduction. Obviously, unfortunately
for poor lads. Before we get into that, so we learned that the actual. So in the trailer, Professor X says, "We'll tell him the truth." The truth is that Doctor Strange didn't actually save everyone from Thanos. He did and he didn't, but he did it by going down a very, very dark path, which we kind of touched on earlier.
He went rogue.
Yeah, he went rogue, which is a danger of a lot of these heroes, and a danger of Stephen Strange in pretty much every multiverse. Every version is that their ego gets in the way, and that sometimes they do the wrong. They try to make the wrong choice. We already saw it with the Defender Strange in the opening scene with him trying to kill America Chavez. We also saw with our Strange in Infinity War when he gives away the Time Stone, and he actually gets blamed about it by a lot of people in the film. Was that the right thing to do? Dr. West from the first movie, he actually points out, that's Michael Strahlberg, I think it says his name. He's been in a bunch of stuff and I love him. But he points out, he's like, was it worth it? Because in that time, I lost my cats.
He lost his cats.
Which is funny, but then he lost his brother. But then he lost his brother. Yeah. And, he's clearly disheveled. He probably lost his career. And there's a lot of stuff that gets touched on, under the rug. But so you have that. So in this universe, whatever he did something using the Darkhold that brought about dark magic, and he had basically gone rogue, and it requires his execution at the hands
of Black
Bolt. Doing the line from, I'm pretty sure it was the line from actually, and now I said that earlier, and now I think I might be wrong.
Because you said Planet Hulk earlier.
Yeah, Planet Hulk, when Black Bolt said "I'm sorry" to Hulk on the moon and blast him. But I think he might have actually just said "stop." Now that I think about it, I'll have to pop it up there on the screen.
Pop it up there, but yeah, eventually, Black Bolt, because of his power, just eradicates
that universe is strange.
That universe is strange.
But they say that the world needed a hero. We weren't going to tarnish his good name by letting the world know that he went rogue. But so then our Wanda learns a new trick to
Sleepwalk.
Basically like possess another version of herself.
Is that what it was called? Sleepwalk?
It was called dreamwalking.
Dreamwalking. There you go.
Because again, the whole thing about the dreams.
Yeah.
So she dreamwalks into this universe's version of herself, and more horror, and she massacres the Illuminati.
Massacres the Illuminati.
I mean, Black Bolt doesn't have a mouth, and when he tries to mumble, it goes inside his own brain and blows his own brains out.
And then it basically
turns Reed Richards into
spaghetti.
Yeah, spaghetti. And then his brain pops.
Yeah.
Cuts Peggy Carter in half with her shield.
With the shield.
Just crushes Captain Marvel.
Yeah, and then
another really great horror scene was when she kills Professor X.
X and cracks his neck with like this concept of trapping him almost in his own mind, trying to save somebody.
Yeah, so she goes into her mind to try to like break out the actual personality of that universe's, and the way they played that was so great because it plays again horror tropes, but it plays so much like you could see it going either way. So he's reaching under some rubble to find the buried persona of that universe's Wanda, and you think it's like, oh, she's gonna go back in the darkness, come out very Pennywise like and grab him and pull him under. But no, instead just a big cloud comes up behind him, reaches out like a monster, just snaps his neck.
And like the whole cinematography in that scene is really good because it's like you have this isolated door that he walks through, and the contrast between where he's going to, and everything's like white and very bright lit color, and then you see this
this giant red cloud.
Giant red cloud.
It would have been cool had it started to slowly get darker too. But whatever. It's still cool. The contrast, the color contrast,
so great.
Is cool.
It was great. And so I mean, then we get a brief introduction to the Illuminati, which was awesome to see, and then as good as it was to see, it was gone just as quickly.
But you know what though, that was a good long scene. It was good, and it had great comic book nods to the incursions.
Yes, absolutely,
that was
absolutely
a huge storyline from years ago in the Avengers.
Yeah, absolutely.
That the Illuminati did take part in. Reed Richards was a huge part in it. Led to Secret Wars.
Yeah,
Secret Wars too.
Yeah, it did. And it'll be great because those characters being introduced, and although they died off,
that was just that universe's version of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's laying the foundation for the fact that we're going to hopefully see these actors reprise these roles as these characters. Because I mean, John Krasinski looked fantastic.
Oh yeah,
it was great.
No, I mean, I've seen many fan art work of him as and it looked amazing.
It looked just like the fan work. The only one
I like it better when the 4 is over here, not in the middle, but whatever.
The only thing that I was missing here. I really wanted to see Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise as Iron Man.
Tom Cruise as Superior Iron Man.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Just
quite honestly, actually,
but who knows? Maybe.
In my mind, that would have been cooler than Captain Marvel, because Captain Marvel just kind of gets crushed by a statue. Mm-hmm. I think frying Tony Stark, a different version of Tony Stark, and especially a different version, or even hell, if it had been Robert Downey Jr. just for like that one scene.
Yeah.
That would have been really cool instead of a different version of Captain Marvel. Because again, what if did Captain Marvel in every episode and it was always like, no one could beat Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Which whatever.
But she clearly got beat.
I know, yeah, she clearly.
No
one can beat Wanda.
Yeah, that's really the end of it. And so, we get into the last act of this movie, and essentially, they
go to find the Book of the Vishanti.
And
they find it.
They do.
But
and then we get this scene that I really liked. This movie, cinematography was really good in this movie, and I love the exploration of these different universes, and kind of just like seeing the collapse at the hands of Doctor Strange, and what he's sacrificed to get to what he wants to get. And then kind of seeing the ramifications of his decisions.
Oh yeah,
and
I mean, think about that just for yourself. If you could like view through the multiverse and just see the ramifications of certain decisions. Like I've had that thought in my head. Just what if I turn left here instead of turning right?
Yeah,
I think everybody has this whole sliding doors thing. that happens, and what what would happen this way? What happened this way? This is like showing Doctor. Of course, it just continuously gets darker and darker and darker. But him seeing how his holding on to his feelings for Christine, his ego, his need for control.
Yes.
And the line that gets said a few times through the movie is that he needs to be the one holding the knife.
Holding the knife,
and,
yeah.
We've already seen that in Doctor Strange 1. We saw it in Infinity War. Not really in Endgame. In Endgame, he's too busy just, holding off water. But we saw it. We definitely saw it in No Way Home. And in this movie, it's people pointing it out to him. It's not even people pointing. It's like such a therapy moment. It's like not just people pointing out to him like, hey, you need to stop trying to be in control of everything. It's him seeing what he is capable of.
Yes.
And it's never good.
Absolutely. And the last one in particular that he sees, the last one that he explores, and this manifestation of this, essentially he's created an isolated island in a completely entire broken world.
Yeah. He's basically the Doctor Strange from What If.
Yes, exactly.
The one that doesn't see the error of his ways at the end.
Exactly, yeah. And he's just sitting in this, and I mean, just the scene with like the stairs going up to, leading to nowhere, in the beach, the ocean, like rolling up to the like such a powerful, like visually powerful scene. Like it's
I looked at it and I was like, man. That's a boss arena in a Dark Souls game.
Right. It's just like
where my brain goes.
The cinematography for that scene is just so amazing. Good. And then, hey, how did you get here? And then realizing that they're both Doctor Strange. And then this was something that I thought was interesting, though. Because you have all these different personas of this person living in different universes, and he has to explain to him how he is Doctor Strange. And then they talk about the death of the sister falling to the ice, which is something that they don't know, which I thought
they haven't told anybody.
Yes, which I thought was kind of a little bit of a plot hole for me, because you're assuming that happens amongst all stranges, amongst all universes.
Yeah, you are, and
you know what I mean? A little bit of a plot hole,
and to a point where even when they're imprisoned by the Illuminati, that universe's version of Christine points out that they were never quite anything full on, just almost in the same vein that he and his version of Christine were. But she points out that the wounds on his hands from his car accident are almost identical.
Almost the same, yeah, but they're slightly different. Yeah, it shows it on the screen.
And that was kind of interesting. It's a slight variation. Which, again, that's how, in string theory, that's how the multiverse would work.
Yeah.
It would be obviously infinite, but you could find someone, again, the turning left versus turning left. Turning right versus turning left. Like, you made that one small decision. Probably didn't, in the vast scheme of things, really change anything. But every now and again, it could have.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And then so, that being said, we get into...
I didn't eat that ho-ho one time when I was 7, and I didn't have this left until now. Oh, give me that universe.
So I think, coming into the end of it, the funnest part that I loved about this movie was, we get Doctor Strange realizing that he doesn't necessarily have to dream walk through a living body. We have the dead body of Doctor Strange from the beginning of the movie that he dreams walk into, and it's so fun, and it's such a Sam Raimi.
That was some of the things too. Like, so much of the dialogue and interactions were so just clever and funny. Especially between Wong and Doctor Strange, fucking Christine and Doctor Strange, Doctor Strange and Doctor Strange.
Yes.
But that line of like, who said it had to be alive?
Yeah.
And so I don't know if we mentioned it earlier, but like, the Defender Strange, when this portal at the very beginning of the movie got sucked in, but he's 100% dead. Just completely mangled. So in the trailer, that's who that was. It was the
zombie Doctor Strange.
It's quote unquote zombie version.
Yeah.
But what it is, it's our Doctor Strange possessing his body because he buried it. That was another funny line too, because he buries it on top of a building under some bricks and he goes, And Wong says, that's got to break an ordinance.
Buried worse. Buried worse. I love that line. And so, then we get, I think that's where we really get this, like, classic Sam Raimi aspect of, like, him, like, controlling these souls and being
because he's basically performing necromancy.
Yeah.
And the underworld does not like that. And so, you get attacked by a bunch of little demons. Fucking Sam Raimi 101, and I'm
yes, and
even camera angles, just POV shots of like going in and out, like something small attacking your face.
Yeah, and just a super fun scene in this movie. I mean, I really enjoyed that. But I think before we get into the monkeys, the last thing that I would like to say about this movie is like what I really enjoyed about this movie was the theme and the exploration of the concept of ego, and again, like.
And ramifications of your actions.
And opportunity cost. Like, everything that you get in life comes at a cost.
Yeah.
And this movie explores it so well. And realistically, there's no villain in this movie. There's two sides, both thinking that they're doing the right thing, only to come to the conclusion that realistically at the end of the movie, it's taking two egos and having one person in between them that makes them realize that they're both wrong and have to realize what is right. And we don't actually see Wanda actually realizing that she was a villain, but more realizing that she can't always be what she wanted to be, which was the person to protect her family.
Well, and it's
that
funny.
She had to let it
and
go.
it's funny. So the movie ends with America Chavez opening up a portal, kind of finally figuring out her powers and opening up a portal to the Illuminati's universe's version of Wanda and her kids, Billy and Tommy. And obviously those kids, their Wanda is their mother.
Mm-hmm.
This new Wanda coming in, wanting to be their mother, just terrifies them. And that's, I think it's seeing that look in their eyes that, that's not their mom. Like, what her plan was kind of for not going. It was a flawed plan going forward, like from the get go, because America even points it out earlier, like they're still not going to be your kids. I think Doctor Strange even says the same thing. Like, even if you go to another universe or take them, they're still not going to be your kids, and there's always going to be something wrong with that. And she realizes that, and then finally, that version's Wanda says, and again, something. It's so funny because there's so much of this movie where people are telling the other person, this is the lesson you need to learn. Yes. And you do kind of have to learn it on your own, which is a great example of sometimes what you have to do in real life too. Mm-hmm. Is sometimes you need to learn the lesson on your own. But the people are telling you to learn this lesson. It's you can't always be the one holding the knife. You can't always be in control. Mm-hmm. And then in this case, Wanda had been told, it shouldn't be enough to know that if you know there are in other universes that they're loved. Yeah. And
very impactful.
Very powerful, because that Wanda just tells her, just know they're loved.
Yeah.
And she goes on her way. And it was very great. It was very powerful. And that's when it clicks with Wanda. She realizes what she's done wrong. She realizes that that's the truth, and she can't just steal her kids away.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, to wit that, do you think she's dead?
No, I do not. I do not think she's dead. I don't think that's the last.
Because she crumbles. So she decides to burn. Yeah. She decides to destroy the Darkhold, which it is revealed that the Darkhold is. It was basically copied from a building that has the same inscriptions. That has basically her. It's almost an altar to the Scarlet Witch.
To herself, yes.
So she destroys it, which in which destroys the Darkhold throughout all universes, and it crumbles on top of her. But I 100% don't think she's dead.
Yeah, I don't think that's the last that we're going to see the Scarlet Witch.
I goddamn hope not.
So with that being said, I do too. She's fantastic. She's a fantastic actress. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the monkeys.
Let's.
I'm going to go ahead and I've kind of changed my thought process here a little bit. I'm going to go and give Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness a 9 out of 12.
9.
It wasn't perfect for me. I thought the pacing was a little bit too fast. Just the way that I got into it.
It is balls to the wall.
It just, it was very just like, let's get into it. I thought there could have been a little bit more development for America Chavez as their progression went throughout the story. Mm-hmm. But other than that being said, I mean, it was a fun movie. I thought it had some really great elements into it. I really liked the horror aspect of it. I love Sam Raimi. Grew up watching Sam Raimi movies, so this was very Sam Raimi-esque to a T, and I really enjoyed that. And also, the score was done by Danny Elfman. I mean, what can you say? Like, I love it. So,
and
9 out of 12.
Just real quick before I get into my monkeys, to touch on the score. Awesome that they used a version of the X-Men cartoon theme. They used a version of Captain America's theme during the Illuminati scene.
Yes, they did. Yeah, that's true.
I think even Captain Marvel had that. Whatever Captain Marvel's theme is, didn't care for that movie, so whatever. I have yet to rewatch it. So my monkeys, I'm gonna go 11 out of 12. I definitely agree with you. The pacing is a little bit off because it is just straight balls to the wall. You start this movie off and it's boom. You get a quiet wedding scene with a little bit of dialogue and some character.
Little bit of come down.
Yeah, a little bit of come down, and then some character building, and then it's just off to the races from there. And it never stops and it never lets up, which I do kind of love. But I will agree, America Chavez could have been a little bit utilized more. I think she's utilized. I mean, she's utilized pretty well, but I think a lot of times she's more used for exposition dumping on her.
Yes.
Or like, instead of really getting her to tell her story, you get it in a kind of a cheesy, weird memory thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll have to see what they do with her in her own series.
And giving it a little bit more, but I think the way they built the camaraderie between her and that Strange, and how she, after just being almost murdered by a Strange, and then kind of not trusting him, of course, because of that, and then kind of going forward, and them bonding naturally, I think that worked. Illuminati stuff, no notes. Yeah. Only notes is keep John Krasinski as Reed Richards.
For sure.
Patrick Stewart, I'm surprised he did it, because he said after Logan he was done, but for a quick scene like that, whatever.
It was great to see him reprise.
But of course, he's
the only Charles Xavier.
I know.
He's the only Charles Xavier. Hugh Jackman's the only Wolverine.
Okay. Not to put a dour note on it, but he ain't gonna be around forever.
No, that's true. All right.
Yeah. So 11 out of 12, solid.
All right, perfect. Well, I think with that one, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment on this video. We really hope that you guys enjoyed this, and we hope that you guys can also join us in the other alternate universe that we're in.
And in another universe we're in, you said that correctly.
Yes. Wait, what do you mean? Was that not correct? All right.
I was making a joke.
Goodbye. Peace.
Okay.
Then you sit down.
Okay.
And where did you want to come back from?
Delaware. I mean,
yes!
When in doubt, always go Delaware.
Yes, I love it. Okay, all right.
What happens is America Chavez opens up a portal to.
Let's cut back then there from there.
Okay.
Where do we want to come back in there from there then?
That was totally fine.
You think so?
Yeah, it was totally fine. Because you didn't go on. I didn't let you go on for very long.
Well, yeah, but you also cut me off.
And that's fine too. I can cut you off every now and again. I cut you off plenty. You cut me off plenty too.
All right, fine.
Sometimes I start talking and because I've cut you off and I hear you go. I hear you do this little exhale. It cracks me up because I think you're so fucking annoyed that I cut you off. But sometimes you just need to be cut off.
Okay.
So whatever, I guess because they always made a big thing about like Jane Foster.
Yeah.
I almost said Jane Fonda. That's weird.
Not really.
But so, huh?
Mickey Avalon had a song about Jane Fonda.
No, but it's just weird that I almost said Jane Fonda.
No, I was. That's why I was, subconscious.
Right. Okay. So.
All right, fine.
Had I not cut you off earlier, you would have basically given me your monkeys already.
Oh, okay. Shit. All right, fine. All right, let's come back. Do you remember where you picked?
I know you're in a hurry. Anyway.
Okay.
So.
All right.